Hello everyone, it's Dom here from Esports News UK. I've got a special guest today. It's someone I'd describe as a rising star in League of Legends Esports, a British player, Will Jones, aka NoName. Thanks for joining me, NoName. How's it going?
I'm doing good, thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Yeah.
Great stuff. And Will, I mean, first of all, you're 20 years old. I hope that's correct on
Yeah.
Wikipedia. And you've done some great things. I mean, you've played for a bunch of UK orgs. I'll talk about that. We'll come on to that in the interview. But you've just won the LVP Superliga Summer 2023 regular season, runner up in the playoffs, and also you've been named Rookie of the Split. So first of all, how would you reflect on all of that, Will? And that's with Bison's.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, sounds like it's been a good season.
Yeah, this season definitely like was not what I was expecting, I guess, when I came into the start of the year because I didn't get into the Superliga at the very start of the year. Then this split, when I managed to get into the Superliga, I think my expectations I didn't have them super high, Like I was just going in with tempered expectations. Then our team ended up clicking very well in the regular season. We ended up winning like we lost our first game, but then we won like 12 in a row or something like that. Went on a very good streak, and yeah, we ended up making it to the final, which felt really, really good. Yeah,
And I think it was 13-5 you went.
yeah,
13 wins overall, which was ahead of, obviously ahead of everyone else.
yeah,
What's it been like playing in the Superliga and with Bisons in particular? Because I've seen a few UK players playing the Spanish leagues and all of them seem to enjoy it.
yeah. I mean, it's completely different to the UK, really. Like you have, at least in Bison's, we have an office, and there's like chairs in the office where people can watch every match day live.
Mm.
So even just normal regular season games, we have people watching. There's like some fans that come every single week. Um, and also there was the live event in Valencia in Spain midway through the season, which would never happen in the UK. And then the finals, which was just completely crazy. Like the amount of people there was wild to me.
Yeah, that's something I really want in the UK. I know we've had things like MSI,
Yeah,
one-offs and things like that. Were you
yeah.
there at MSI? Did you get to visit?
No, I didn't actually go, but hopefully, if next Worlds is in London, I'll be there.
Well, that's what I've heard, right? And
Yeah,
I always get a few people saying, "Oh, Dom, is this true? Is this really true?" But I heard from more sources than I did around the MSI news I broke. MSI coming for
yeah,
2023,
yeah,
so fingers crossed, and I'm confident Worlds next year. I've got to ask, Will. Now, you're the only UK player on your team. It's a mostly Spanish roster.
yeah.
Um, I think it's cool. I mean, you're playing with a bot laner called Legolas. I mean, what's that like? Did you get many Lord of the Rings jokes or anything like that in Discord?
I mean, I think it's his. I've been with him for quite a while, so the Lord of the Rings jokes have passed over. But
Okay.
I've really enjoyed playing with him.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. And you also played, according to Wikipedia, with another Spanish team in the past, Guasons. I don't know if I've
Yeah,
pronounced that right.
yeah,
And apparently that org was founded by a Spanish footballer, Ruben Garcia. Right.
yeah.
What was that like?
I've Grassners was the first experience of mine in Spain, really, in the second division at the time it was. That was the team I was on the whole of last year. We ended up, uh, it was a whole crazy year. The first year we came second to the team called Case Esports, who was spending like one of their player was our whole team's budget, basically. It was
Wow.
a massive difference in spending. Then the second split, we ended up winning the split. So this time last year in summer, we won. And then we went to the promotion tournament in Spain, and we ended up promoting on the last game of the best of five against the team called Case, and we knocked them out when we were big underdogs against them the whole year. It was quite quite a good time. But yeah, during the time in Grosson is actually like we when we had our boot camp in Spain, we ended up staying at Ruben Garcia's personal house
Oh wow.
because obviously he's a footballer, he lives in a big house. We all stayed like upstairs. He has a um big house on the hills in Pamplona, so we were all in like it was like 3 or 4 stories, so we were all like in like the very big attic of the house. And we would travel to the office every day to do our scrims. It was quite fun.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? I like that we're seeing footballers and sports clubs embrace
Yeah,
esports a bit
he
and also
he
bring
really
that
cared
money.
about it as well by letting us stay in his house. I think a lot of them wouldn't do that.
Yeah, no, it's shout out to Garcia for that. That sounds pretty cool. And also, you mentioned a promotion tournament. You've done one of those in the LFL, right? With
Yeah.
another team there. Was that promoting from Div 2 to Div 1?
Um, that was well, I didn't play the season with them. I just joined them for the promotion, but that was them in Div 2. I think it was like the promotion relegation, so that was them to not get relegated to
Oh, I
Div 2.
see. Right, okay. MCES Academy, that
Yeah,
was. So
yeah,
you're pretty experienced,
yeah,
for 20 years old. I know League of Legends esports and esports in general, a lot of the players are young, but you've got some really good experience there. You've got, well, before we come on to some of the orgs, I'd love to know about your background in League and how you got into it because Liquipedia says your first team was London Esports, but often when I interview players, they'll say, "Oh no, but I was playing for this team before. Or I was doing this and that before." What was those? What was that time like leading up to your playing time with London Esports?
yeah. Well, I had been playing League for a very long time. I got into it maybe like season 3, I think.
Wow.
So about 10 years ago now.
So you were
When
10.
Yeah,
Wow.
not exactly like playing every day, but maybe playing one normal game every now and then. It took me like a year to get to level 30 type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, my friend introduced me because his older brother was playing. Um, and then after a little bit, like season 4 and season 5, I was bronze in ranked and started playing. Me and my friends played it quite frequently. Um, and then after a little while being in silver and bronze and stuff, I went from silver to diamond and then diamond to master and then eventually I tried to get into the UK scene because I wanted to I wanted to play for a team in League of Legends, but I wasn't exactly sure how. But then one solo queue game I played with Soph and I ended up adding him. I didn't know he was British at the time. I just added him because he was challenger. And then we started talking. He was like, "Oh, you're 16 and you're master. You should try and get onto a team and things like this." So he helped me actually get into a team, and he ended up like there was this mini tournament. I've got no idea what it was called on at the time, and he just asked them to let me play, and I played a couple games. So that's how I really first got into it, and then Office and Naughty um
Hey.
got me. Yeah, those are people that actually helped me to get started in the end.
Yeah, that's really good. I did a similar thing to you, Will. I started around season 3,
Yeah.
got to silver, but that part where you just jump to diamond, jump to challenger, I haven't quite got there yet.
Yeah, maybe it will come. You never know.
Maybe, yeah, maybe when my kids have grown up. But at that point, it's everyone will be moved on much higher ranks than me. But anyway, enough about me.
Yeah,
You've played for a bunch of UK and Ireland orgs as well, right? Because you've played for
yeah,
Munster Rugby,
yeah,
London United, Resolve, Ruddy as
yeah.
well. What did you learn from your time there in those leagues, like the UKLC, and with those kind of teams?
Um, I think I just learned a bit about like competition and the basics of League of Legends competition because at the start I was always really, really nervous to play in my official games. and playing with a team is a lot different to solo queue, obviously.
Mm.
So it's just about adjusting your mindset and getting experience. I think for me, those that time was
Yeah, 100%. I have to ask about Ruddy in particular because Ruddy have had some,
yeah,
Don Jake did some funny interviews at MSI. They've had a bit
yeah,
of viral marketing and things. Is that something you expected from them? What's it been like? What's your thoughts on Ruddy
yeah.
these days?
Well, I think Ready is a great thing for UK esports. I mean, when I joined them, I was sort of expecting this because I had spoke with Jake a bit, and even during the whole off season, he was joking like, "Let's get you on Ruddy, let's get you on Ruddy." But in my head, it was never gonna happen. But then, um, I ended up working out. So, uh, yeah, I was when I joined Ruddy, I was knowing that this was like their brand.
Mm,
Um, and I definitely that that's part of the reason why I wanted to join because it's not just any boring org, they have a lot of going on. And I think it is needed for the UK scene. I think Jake is doing a very good job with everything
100%.
he's doing. Uh, it's just a shame it didn't work out really because three of the players that were on Ruddy, me, then Voxney and Nash are all in E Masters main stage, which is quite funny. But
Yeah, that's a
we
good
came
point.
we came fourth or something in NLC.
Yeah. Yeah, Ruddy have been a bit unlucky hitting the
Yeah,
playoffs each time, not managing to get through, but hopefully they will in the
yeah,
future. You mentioned the EU Masters or EMEA Masters. I'm glad you did. It's That's something I want to ask about. Again, thanks for talking to me today because you're actually playing 3 matches, right?
yeah,
Later on.
yeah,
So, what are your thoughts going into EMEA Masters? I think it's GTZ, Istanbul Wildcats, and Orbit Anonymo Esports. I'll be honest, I don't know
yeah,
much about any of those orgs.
yeah. Well, uh, for me, Istanbul Wildcats have been the best team that we scrimmed.
Right.
So I think they're looking like a strong team. I don't know much about the other two teams, as you said. So I think our expectations or our feelings is to at least go top two and get out the group. I don't know how my team or how all of the rest of them feel beyond that, but this is my first year masters. I want to show a good performance, because year masters a lot of people can be watching. You can make a good impression for yourself. So I'm really excited. Honestly, it feels good to represent the region. Like when I think about it in the past, I used to watch E-Masters a lot, and I sometimes like before I even actually understood what it was, I would just see it on Twitch and watch it, and it now feels really good to be a part of it. And there's always like the fans saying like which is better, LFL or LVP, and now I can actually be the one to change the tides.
Yeah, that must feel amazing. And you're right. I feel like the EU or EMEA Masters has grown a lot in stature as
Yeah,
well. And we have, you look at the broadcast talent. We've got Law, we've got Medic, Quick Shot.
yeah, yeah,
You've got a real chance to make a name for yourself and all the other players and orgs in there. I mean, that's very exciting. We've seen EMEA Masters be a stepping stone for some players and UK players as well in the past, like ex Matty, who's gone
yeah,
into the LEC. I mean, he's back in the ERLs now, but still playing at that good
yeah,
level.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? I'd love to know about your future ambitions. NoName. I know it's an obvious question.
Yeah,
Hey, do you see yourself playing in the LEC? But I mean, it must be something that's crossed your mind.
yeah, it's my goal for sure. I don't know like at which point I'll be ready or how many years, but that's where I definitely want to end up.
Yeah, and do you think the UK's cursed? NoName. I don't like to say that, but we've seen players in the past like Alfari,
Yeah,
Cagel, ex Matty, and they've either taken a break or transitioned to another role or are back in the ERLs again. We can't seem to maintain a UK player in the LEC. We've got good
yeah.
broadcast talent. Why do you think that is, or is there no particular reason?
think I think the issue is just there's a lack of um raw like number of players in of UK in the LEC. So when when these things happen and it's only one player there, then it just looks like it looks worse than it is, I guess. Because if there was like five UK players, if one of them dropped out, it wouldn't seem as bad. But
Yeah.
there's just I think League of Legends is not a massive thing in the UK compared to other countries, is
Mm.
my feeling. So we get less players and less people to LEC because of it, and it just looks like everything's cursed. But maybe it's just because we have a less pool of players.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, we're a smaller country, right, compared to some of the other
Yeah,
countries in
yeah,
there as well around Europe. I'd love to ask about your name, your IGN no name. What's the
yeah.
story behind that?
Well, pretty much I just saw. I think it was like this all Chinese team in North America or something like this, and one of them was called No Name, and I was changing my name at the time because I didn't know what to be called, and he was a jungle main and I was a jungle main, so I just copied his name essentially.
Do you know what? It's interesting because my next question is there are some other no names out there,
Yeah,
right? So you already know this. And
yeah,
that Chinese player you mentioned, I think he's a coach
he's a
now
coach. Yeah,
in the
yeah,
LPL team TT Gaming. But we
yeah,
also have a Korean player and a Taiwanese player, but I don't think they're as high as stature as the Chinese coach.
yeah. They're
Um,
not.
so would you ever change your name in the future because there are a few others with no name, or will you keep pushing
Yeah,
on to be
I
the
mean,
main no name in League of Legends?
my name doesn't really have any attachment to me. I could change it whenever or like it's just about branding really, I think.
Yeah,
But yeah, I have no special attachment. Like some people have really thought about their name and it means a lot to them, but uh, yeah, I'm not fussed.
yeah, I would say keep it personally because
Yeah,
I've seen some players change their name two, even three times,
yeah.
and it's that branding thing. People don't know. Oh, hang on a minute, who's that? Oh,
Yeah,
that's whoever. I
yeah,
think Rifty changed his name once or twice, and I got a bit confused, but then went back to it.
yeah.
Um, and when you Google no name, apparently an American rapper of the same name appears, and she also has a no name book club. So, are you familiar with No Name the rapper and
No,
the
I'm
book
not.
club?
I'm not familiar. No.
Okay. All right, no worries. I've asked about the UK. What is your view on League of Legends here in general, Will? Because, like I say, we've had MSI, we've had Worlds in the past. We've got the return of national leagues. You might have, I don't know if you
Yeah,
saw that, the UK EL. What are your
yeah,
thoughts on
yeah.
that?
Um, I don't know too much about how that's gonna work, but I think the UKEL has always been great. Um, when I played it, it was really good. I think the people that run it always really care about it.
Hmm.
So would it be at the league under the NLC or how does it work?
Yeah, that's a good question. And listen, I wrote an article, so I should know. But I always say, as a journalist, I'm an expert for a day. I do the article, then I'm on to the
Yeah,
next one. I
yeah,
believe that the UKL might feed in some way into one of the NLC divisions. I'm not fully sure how it works, but I think there's going to be NLC Division 1 and 2 kept, and I think the
yeah,
UKL might feed into 2. I could be
yeah,
completely wrong. Apologies, people watching this, but I did do an article on it, so I'll link the article below, and it should be in there. It's quite fresh, new information still.
yeah, yeah,
So, there probably will. I wouldn't be surprised if there were some little tweaks.
yeah,
But yeah, it's going to be linked with the NLC, and it is officially recognised, I guess, by Riot.
yeah. Well, yeah, grassroots I think is always good. But in terms of like the level of esports in the UK, where last year when I was in Guasones and we went to actually, we went to Bison's office for a bit because they're close with each other. So
Right.
1 year ago on Westerners, we visited the Bison's office, and next to that office, they had a s- not like a stadium, like a theater full of people, and the players weren't even playing from there. It was like a watch party, so like a massive cinema screen with like 300, 400 people, and they were so like passionate and enthusiastic. It was just something that I thought like that would not happen in the UK because of you can't get that number of people in just one small city for a regular season game or whatever it was. I just thought like wow, this is something you don't see in the UK.
Yeah, and I don't know why that is. I mean, I remember an event a few years ago. It was just before COVID hit. It was the XL Esports Neo Surf Cup, I think it
Yeah,
was, and they
yeah,
had a
I
few show
remember that.
matches, and I was like, "This is good." And there was a
Yeah,
good amount of people there. Okay, it wasn't a massive theatre room, but you know, there was probably a few hundred people there, and I thought, I want to see more of this.
yeah,
You know, it's that mentality, it's that idea of build it and they will come kind of thing. You know, Insomnia
yeah,
is quite different. We don't have massive prize pools and things like that. I would like to
yeah,
see show matches. I've been to the Confetti X studio in Nottingham. That is world class. That is absolutely amazing. I said to the
yeah.
guys when I was there the other week, I know you're doing great university stuff. Can we get some show matches from some big get Fnatic versus XL or something, League of
Yeah.
Legends teams, you know, and broadcast it. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. That's all my questions. Will, is there anything else you'd like to add? I know we've spoken about LEC, but maybe a more broader question on, you know, your near future in League of Legends, or where you see yourself in a few years' time.
Um, well, I think well the off season is coming up after the Masters, and Bison's as a club probably won't be extending into next year. So I'll be looking at different ARL options is my assumption. So LVP, maybe LFL, and all the different good ARLs.
Mm.
Um, I'd like to stay in Spain. Definitely, I have a great time here so far. And I have residency in Spain, so it makes it easier.
Yeah,
So, but I think for the next year, yeah, definitely looking at another year in one of the ARLs to keep improving.
yeah. When you say Bison's not extending, do you mean not extending all the player contracts? You don't mean
Oh,
leaving?
no, I think I don't know how much I can say.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I'll put you on the spot. Don't worry.
Yeah, but yeah, none of us will be playing for next
Okay.
year.
All right. Well, sorry to hear that, but I hope you know. I'm sure you'll find a new home.
Yeah,
But
thank you.
and in the meantime, good luck in the EMEA Masters. I'll be
Thank
watching
you very
today.
much. Yeah,
Um, it's great to have some UK talent in there. I mean,
yeah.
I've looked in. I'm not sure if there are any. I don't think there are any other UK players. Yeah, oh, we've got Shikari. Sorry, from Natives.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think
There
that's
was
it.
one other. Yeah, that's it.
You're the only two.
Yeah.
Actually, before I go, I mean, your thoughts on that? Natives, they're the first Irish org to, as I understand it, reach EMEA Masters.
Yeah, and they're straight in the group stage, which is good for them as well. Yeah, well, Den Voxney, I was on a team with last split. I think he's very, very talented, so I'm glad to see him back in E-Masters because he made a top four run or something from the NLC last time, which is extremely impressive to get top four from the NLC. Um, yeah, I've I'm familiar with all the players on that team. I've spoke with Vladdy a bit. We've had some in-houses during last off season.
Mm.
I think he's like 16 or 17 or something, and he was rank one in Sudoku earlier this week. He's um looking quite promising. I think that team. I mean, they have a group where they can make it, but they can also have a tough time. So good luck to natives.
Absolutely, yeah. And I will say on Den Voxney, he joins you as one of the few sort of players in recent years we've done video interviews with. So I'll try
Yeah.
and put that in the description as well.
Yeah.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you.
Yeah,
Um,
and you.
Thank you. I'm going to try and edit this today and get it live before you play your matches. But I've also got my kids to look after a little bit as well, so I'll see how I get on. But
Yeah.
I'll do my. But thank you, Will. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add? Any last shout outs?
Um, I don't have anything though. But thank you very much for the interview. Yeah, it's been great.
You're welcome. Thank you. Good luck, NoName. Thanks everyone for watching this as well, and I'll be back soon, I'm sure, with more League of Legends esports content.